Welcome back to tell us about hunger that is happening in their community. In the studio with me now, we have the amazing facilitator who happens to be Judi Baril, as well as the Prescott librarian, and Gillard. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get right into this. Hunger is not just a family. We're talking children. And you're seeing a lot of children that are going without.
That's right.
They are not getting the nutritional factors that they need. Judi, tell us what's happening in South Grenville.
Well, I'll tell you how this group started
Please.
coming together. I had conversations with Johanna Freer at the Outpost Cafe in 2023. She has opportunities for people to come and get free clothing. And she wanted to partner with the Spirit of Giving because Mike and I help run that program. So I went in October to talk to her about how that could happen in 2024. The end result was it's going to happen in 2025. We are going to have an opportunity for people that register for the Spirit of Giving to actually take free clothing with them when they register.
Okay.
And as I always do, I always ask when I'm in to an organization like that, how's it going? I want to know. I want to know if there's any way I can be of assistance to them. And she started telling me about her summer, that every day in the summer when they were open, almost 30 to 35 kids came into the Outpost Cafe and asked for free food. They were hungry.
Food. What age groups are we talking here?
They were teenagers.
Okay.
And they were on their way to Kelly's Beach because that's the only place in South Grenville that you can go and just enjoy the summer day. There's washroom facilities there, there's shower facilities there. And she was feeding them every single day. And so I was alarmed by that because I really thought that I should have known that that was happening. I've always been concerned about the fact that we're feeding children from September to June. But then you throw in 2 weeks at Christmas and a week at March break and summer holidays. And I always worried and wondered, what do kids do when there's no opportunity for them to eat? So that sat with me and I thought, okay. And then I had conversations with other people about the number of teenagers that were going to have supper on Wednesday nights at King's Kitchen.
Yes.
I had heard about a program that the library had on Tuesday evenings with their Dungeons and Dragons group. I knew from working with the food bank the level of poverty and what they were seeing. And of course I was aware because of the Spirit of Giving. I knew the numbers of families in South Grenville who were struggling.
Yes.
So I felt that it would be important if we pulled the people together that were those service providers, King's Kitchen, Connect Youth, the library, the food bank, if we could get them in one room and have a conversation, maybe some cooperation and collaboration would start happening. So that first meeting, which was very organic, people just came because they knew that they had a story to tell. And that was our first meeting in December. And we talked about what would happen over the Christmas vacation. And we also started talking about March break because I knew it was going to happen and come as quicker than anybody realized.
Yes.
And so then the second meeting that I had happened in the early spring because I realized from talking to people that they hadn't really collaborated like I had thought they were going to. So I thought maybe there'd be an opportunity before March break happened to bring them together again.
Yes.
And that was a second opportunity. And my recommendation back to that group, because I was the facilitator of those meetings, but I'm not a service provider, I wanted them to consider forming a poverty roundtable for South Grenville. Because I think if you have a formal group that comes together once a month or maybe every other month, that there would be more collaboration happening because it would be a more formal setting for them.
Right, I agree. Please tell us about the library and what you had noticed.
So we volunteer-led programming on Tuesday afternoons, early evening by a volunteer. In the beginning, the children brought their own snacks. We noticed there was kids who didn't have snacks. So we started providing snacks on donations.
Right.
Just then we noticed, and it came to our attention, that some of the children were stealing food from area places.
They were hungry.
They're hungry. So late September, early October of 2024, we started making a meal. So it's run strictly by volunteers. No money comes out of our library budget. This is just within our library and a few very trusted patrons that we reached out to who we knew not only would help, but had great connections in the community that they could bring to our table.
Right.
So we feed on average of 10 to 30 kids a week. We've noticed now that the older kids, the group originally was from ages 10 to 16. We now have some who have aged back, but keep coming.
Yes.
So there's a few 17-year-olds. I think we have a 19-year-old that's going off to college this year. But the siblings, and during March break, we had some parents and young babies come. So it's not unusual. This trend is appearing in libraries all across North America. Some libraries now actually employ a social worker that deal with issues.
Yes.
But we have such a great library family that it's been very easy to hook up the right people
To carry this on.
to carry it on. We've been very lucky.
So, Judi, what would you say a number? You told me 30, okay. What are we looking at here? Are we looking at close to maybe 50, 75, 100? What just a ballpark figure, please.
That would be hard for me to guesstimate because I think there's a lot of kids that are probably going hungry that haven't accessed programs. I mean, you know, how lucky are we that we have a library that's willing to do that? Libraries aren't like libraries when I was a kid.
No.
They are gathering places. They are safe places. They are places where kids go and they know that they can be heard and seen and they trust the people that are there. I was on the board of Connect Youth about 8 years ago, and I knew Connect Youth was feeding about 40 kids at lunchtime every day. That number has grown to 130 for lunch every day.
130?
Yes, and I don't even know how they do it because Anne and I talked, they don't have a stove. They have 2 hot plates, they have an air fryer, and they have a couple of crock pots. I do not know how they do it, but for some reason, they're doing it. And fortunately for the kids that come to have, and they usually get like soup and maybe a hot sandwich or something or a sandwich.
Yes.
But that's a huge number of kids just within one facility. They also, at King's Kitchen on Wednesday nights, if you go to King's Kitchen, one whole side of the cafeteria is filled with youth who deliberately miss their bus so they can get a hot meal. I mean, this is, every place I looked, there was numbers climbing. So for me to put a number on it, I really don't know what that number would be. But I do know that it's probably larger than any number I can give you.
Yes.
And that's why it's important that this group keeps meeting, because I think every time that happens, I did promise them I would build a bigger table. I made sure that our 3 mayors, Mayor Shaver, Mayor Shankar, and Mayor Deschamps, I wanted them to know, you know, what the results of our December meeting was. So I did send them out the report. I also sent it to our MP and our MPP.
Yes.
I don't like to blindside anybody.
No.
Information is power. The more you know, the more you can do and the more you can help.
Right.
So everyone keeps getting those reports. I want them to know the depth of what we're seeing, the depth of poverty and the depth of hunger. And I think every time that happens, more people come out. The churches are all involved now in Prescott.
Good.
But it's not just Prescott children that are hungry. They're from Edwardsburg Cardinal, and they're from the township of Augusta, and they're also from the town of Prescott. It's a problem we share no matter where you live. And that's why I think it's really up to all of us collectively to do something about it. And if we can give a child a bowl of soup and a sandwich, or give them a hot meal on Tuesday night, or the Legion was so gracious about feeding 50 kids during March break. if we continue to do that type of thing, that to me is true collaboration, where
Yes.
I have this, you need this, I'm going to make that happen. And so as often as we can do that, and as often as we can have a conversation about what's happening and the depth of hunger that our young people are experiencing. Anne and I were talking on the way up that years ago I did a survey with civics classes, grade 12 civics classes, and I asked them, how many of you are going away to university? And they all put their hands up, university or college. How many of you are planning to come back after you get your degree? And probably a smattering of hands went up.
Yeah.
And then my next question was, why aren't you coming back? Because we need the youth, we need their brains, we need their new learning, we need them to engage in our
Yes.
businesses, and
Yes,
we
we
need
do.
them to have families and to grow and to prosper in our community. And they said to me, because nobody cares about us here. It took my breath away. But now, I think in South Grenville, kids who know that they can have a lunch at Connect Youth, they can go to King's Kitchen. Every time a child accesses food, if they need it, and somebody is willingly giving it, those people are caring about those kids. And I know
yes.
those kids know that.
Of course they do.
I know they know that
Yes.
there's an adult who cares about them. So for me, that's winning, right? That's a win right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the great evolution of this program is that this week is a PA Day, Friday, April 11th, and we're moving our Nerd Night Nutrition to the United Church, and we're going to do meal. Everybody, we've broken off into teams, and each team is going to make something. We'll all eat together,
Yes.
but there'll be enough for kids to take home for over the weekend for March
Isn't
break.
that nice?
So we meet Thursday to go over all the flyers. We're planning the menu around what is for sale, what is
Right.
local.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it's interesting to see the excitement. There actually is a Dungeons and Dragons cookbook, so I thought that was a pretty.
Okay,
I know.
I didn't know that.
No, who knew? So I thought that was a perfect way
Wonderful.
to sort of bridge this,
Yes.
because both Nick, who's the volunteer that runs our program, and myself believe in youth for youth. It's
Yes.
if you teach them, it's an investment.
It is indeed.
And I think that libraries are such an investment in the community around you. And no matter where they end up, they'll go to the library in that community as well.
Yes. Ladies, when is your next meeting? Have you decided?
I'm waiting to hear back. I'm hoping it's going to be on Wednesday, April the 30th. And I'm hoping that that afternoon, it's an afternoon meeting, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to build the bones of a poverty roundtable, and have people who are service providers take a leadership role in that, so I can step back. Because I'm not a service provider, and the people that are service providers should be in complete control of that poverty roundtable.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that that's going to happen. I'm going to give them some documents that I think will help them build that formal network, and I anticipate the room's going to be filled with more people this time around. Which is wonderful for me to see, because every time the numbers increase, it means that there's more people that are aware of what's happening, are there because they have an interest in it, they're
Right.
caring, they're kind, they're enthusiastic, and it's only going to benefit the kids.
You got it.
The youth are going to be the beneficiary of all that work.
They're our future. They
really
our
are.
future. Okay, if somebody's watching this, they want to connect with you, how? Through the library, the Prescott?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They can
Okay.
contact us at the library.
All right.
Through our website, which is within the town of Prescott's website.
Right.
They can phone or they can email, which the information's on the webpage.
Telephone number, please.
613-925-4340. And we're open 10 to 7.
Thank you both for coming in today, sitting down with me, and telling our viewers what is happening in your area as far as hunger and children. They shouldn't be in the same sentence.
No, they shouldn't. I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.